People love shouting, "Richest footballer," like it's a trophy you win on the pitch. But the truth is darker and way more interesting. In football, richest can mean three completely different things. It can mean royal family money, where your bank account was decided before your first touch. It can mean business empire money, where your goals turn into hotels, brands, and lifetime deals. Or it can mean global icon money, where your name itself becomes a currency that prints cash across continents. So today, we're doing a top 3 that will start arguments instantly. Faiq Bolkiah, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi. And here's the plot twist that makes this video different from every lazy net worth list online. Faiq Bolkiah is often called the richest footballer in the world, but even Wikipedia notes that the famous 20 billion figure people repeat is actually linked to his uncle, the Sultan of Brunei, not confirmed as Faiq's personal net worth. Meanwhile, Ronaldo and Messi are the opposite kind of rich. Their money is built in public, contracts, endorsements, and monster earnings. Forbes has repeatedly placed them among the world's highest-paid athletes in recent years. So the real question isn't who has the biggest number. It's who has the most unstoppable money machine, and how did they build it? If you've ever seen a post screaming, "The richest footballer in the world isn't Ronaldo or Messi," this is the name they throw at you like a plot twist: Faiq Bolkiah. And the reason it feels so unbelievable is because the story flips the football fantasy on its head. Most players chase money. Faiq was born near it. He's a member of Brunei's royal family, son of Prince Jeffrey Bolkiah, nephew of Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah. That alone turns his name into clickbait gold. But here's the part the internet loves to conveniently forget, because it ruins the shock headline. That famous number people repeat, 20 billion net worth, is widely linked to his uncle, the Sultan of Brunei, not confirmed as Faiq's personal net worth. Even Wikipedia straight up calls out that the 20 billion figure is actually his uncle's wealth, not a verified number for Faiq himself. So why does he still get labeled richest footballer? Because in the public imagination, proximity to a royal fortune becomes personal fortune. And that creates a weird kind of celebrity, the athlete who is famous for being rich, even if the details are fuzzy. But if you peel back the headline bait, the real story is way more interesting, and honestly, more cinematic. He didn't need football. He chose it. Faiq spent years in elite youth environments in England. His background includes time in the youth systems of clubs like Chelsea and Leicester City, according to biographical summaries. That's not the path of someone doing a rich kid hobby for Instagram. That's the path of someone who wanted the real grind, training, selection, rejection, and the brutal reality that money can't buy, minutes on the pitch. And that's where the story becomes quietly tragic in a dramatic way. Because when you're born royal, the world expects your life to be effortless. But football doesn't care who your uncle is. Football only asks one question: can you perform at the level the badge demands? Fast forward to the current chapter. Football databases list Faiq as playing in Thailand for Ratchaburi FC, with club info shown for the 25-26 season. And here's the twist that makes his richest footballer reputation feel almost ironic. Faiq's story isn't about earning the biggest contract. It's about living inside the sport without needing the sport to pay him. That changes everything. For Ronaldo and Messi, every match is part of a financial machine. Bonuses, sponsorship boosts, media pressure, legacy economics. For Faiq, the money narrative isn't how much does he earn, but what does he lose by being normal? Because choosing football means choosing evaluation, criticism, and the possibility of being called overhyped by people who only know his name from a net worth meme. So what's the real takeaway? Faiq Bolkiah represents inheritance wealth, the kind of money that exists before talent is even tested. But his football life is a reminder that wealth doesn't automatically translate into football greatness, and football greatness doesn't always translate into being the richest. And that sets up the real contrast of this video. If Faiq is the born-into-it storyline, Cristiano Ronaldo is the built-it from nothing and turned it into an empire storyline. And that empire has receipts, Forbes-level earnings, mega salary, and a brand that prints money even when he's not playing. Cristiano Ronaldo's wealth story is the exact opposite of Faiq's. Faiq is born into a fortune. Ronaldo is built a fortune, and then built a factory that keeps producing more. Because Ronaldo didn't become rich by being a footballer. He became rich by turning football into a global business engine with his own name stamped on every moving part. Think about the difference. Most players have a career, then they retire and hope their name still sells. Ronaldo built a brand so aggressively that even the idea of him sells. His face, his lifestyle, his discipline, his machine mentality, it became content, motivation, obsession, and marketing all at once. And that's why his money feels different. It's not quiet money, it's loud money. The kind that shows up in your feed whether you support him or not. Here's the real formula behind his fortune. Ronaldo earns like a footballer, but he thinks like an owner. On the pitch, he stacked salaries, bonuses, and signing deals across different eras. Off the pitch, he stacked something even more valuable, attention that converts. Not just followers, buyers. Not just fans, customers. When you have that kind of global reach, every partnership becomes a multiplier. A post isn't a post, it's a billboard. A photo isn't a photo, it's a campaign. And Ronaldo's genius is that he never let the brand feel separate from the athlete. He fused them. The discipline became part of the marketing. The training clips became proof of value. The confidence became the product. Even controversy became fuel. Because in the attention economy, being talked about is a currency, and Ronaldo has never been poor in that currency. This is why people call him a money machine, because he has multiple revenue doors and none of them depend on one club, one league, or even one season. Football gave him the stage, but Ronaldo turned the stage into an entire shopping mall with his name on it. And here's the dramatic twist. His wealth isn't just how much he made. It's the fact that he built a system where time works for him. The older he gets, the more his legacy becomes a product. Highlights, records, documentary storytelling, brand nostalgia, iconic status. So if Faiq represents inherited wealth, Ronaldo represents manufactured wealth. Money created by turning performance into a brand empire that can outlive the body. But then we arrive at the final boss comparison. Because if Ronaldo is the loud, relentless factory, Lionel Messi is the silent global currency, the kind of name that doesn't need to shout to be priceless. If Ronaldo's wealth feels like a spotlight that never turns off, Messi's wealth feels like something colder and rarer, inevitability. Because Messi doesn't sell you, "I'm a brand." Messi sells you truth, and truth is the most expensive product in sports. Here's what makes Messi's money story so different. He didn't build his empire by being everywhere. He built it by being unavoidable. For years, his name became the cleanest symbol of football excellence. So clean that brands didn't need a storyline. They just needed the association. With Messi, you're not buying noise. You're buying credibility. And credibility ages well. Messi's wealth comes from the classic pillars. Contracts, endorsements, bonuses, but the reason it scales so high is because his public image has an unusual quality. It's hard to attack. He's not famous for being flashy. He's famous for being good. That creates a type of commercial power that doesn't rely on constant reinvention or controversy. When Messi appears, it feels like a stamp of quality. That's why his deals don't feel like ads. They feel like approval. Another reason Messi stays financially elite is that he became something bigger than a player. He became a global symbol. And symbols create long money. The kind of money that continues through highlights, legacy content, licensing, memorabilia, brand partnerships that last longer than seasons, and the cultural moment of, "I watched him." The quieter he is, the more people project greatness onto him, and that projection is valuable. Now here's the nasty part of the richest footballers debate. Messi and Ronaldo are rich because they earned it, and they built brands around performance. Faiq is called rich because the internet loves the shock factor of royal proximity. So when people argue about who's richest, they're usually mixing up two different questions. Who has the biggest personal earning machine built from football? And who is closest to the largest fortune, even if football isn't the source? Messi represents the purest version of football wealth, a career turned into a global currency without needing to scream. And now we hit the payoff, because once you put these three together, the ranking becomes a trap question. Here's the punchline nobody wants to admit. There isn't one richest footballer. There are three different kinds of rich, and these three names represent each type perfectly. Type number 1. Inheritance rich, Faiq Bolkiah. He's the headline that breaks people's brains because his wealth story isn't about football income. It's about royal family proximity. But the viral 20 billion number people attach to him is widely associated with his uncle, the Sultan of Brunei, not a confirmed personal net worth figure for Faiq himself. So the real power in Faiq's richest label is the narrative, the prince who chose football anyway. Type number 2, manufactured empire rich, Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo is the self-made machine. His money isn't just salary, it's a business ecosystem built on global attention. He turned performance into a brand that sells 24/7, regardless of club or season. His name is a product line. Type number 3, legacy currency rich, Lionel Messi. Messi's wealth is quieter, but terrifyingly strong because it's built on credibility. His name functions like a quality stamp. Brands pay for what he represents, not what he says. That kind of image creates long-term value that doesn't die with form. So if you're ranking by pure football earnings plus business empire, the fight is Ronaldo versus Messi. If you're ranking by proximity to massive family wealth, Faiq becomes the viral shock answer. And that's why this topic always goes viral. People aren't arguing about the same definition of rich. Now we close with the final question, because this video isn't just about numbers. It's about what kind of power you respect. So the real twist is this. The richest footballer debate is a trap, because people are measuring different kinds of power. Faiq Bolkiah represents inheritance, money that exists before football even starts. But the viral 20 billion figure people repeat is tied to his uncle's wealth, not confirmed as Faiq's personal net worth. Cristiano Ronaldo represents the self-made factory, turning goals into a global brand that prints money even when he's not on the pitch. Lionel Messi represents legacy currency, quiet credibility that becomes priceless because it's almost impossible to fake. So now I'm asking you the real question. Which type of rich is the most powerful? Royal proximity, business empire, or legacy currency? Comment your pick, Faiq, Ronaldo, or Messi, and why. And if you want the next episode, should we do top richest football clubs owners versus players, or top athletes who turned fame into billion-dollar empires?